No such thing as bad food, just some habits we need to change. That is what this video is all about, and it's just based on my experience over the past few years and losing the best part of 200 pounds. It is one of those things that's really important, and I hope that this gives some help to those people out there, particularly the ones who've been asking questions on social media and in comments. So let's jump in. My name is Mark and I'm here to help you live a better, healthier life. My goal is to help as many people as I can get into shape and improve their quality of life. Now, if this is your first time here and you want to learn more about practical and effective ways to improve your health, fitness and overall wellness, or if you're just interested in expanding your knowledge about fitness and nutrition, start now by hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. And now, without further ado, let's jump right in. So I get asked quite a lot in terms of what's the best diet to go on, what's the best food to eat or best food to avoid, what are the things I should and shouldn't do. So let's start off with this myth about bad foods. There is no such thing as a bad food. The problem we've got, or the problem I've got, is that I have some bad habits. And what I mean by that is I eat by choice, I eat at the wrong times of day, I eat too much in the wrong places. I used to not balance my food and look after the volume of the food I was eating versus the high sugary content and everything else. So there are lots of things there that can influence how easily you find it is to lose weight or put it on. I know certainly I find it very easy to put on weight. I only have to look at some cakes and there goes the weight. So what I wanted to talk about today is this whole idea of bad food. We're told so often that, avoid this or avoid that, or this diet's better than that diet. And there is little bits of truth in that. A diet that might work for me may well not work for you. It also, depends on what stage you are of losing your weight. If you're starting off at 400, 500 pounds, it is quite easy to make some adjustments to start losing that weight. But as you lose the weight, you need to make further adjustments. It is not a one size fits all. So what I want to talk today about is this whole concept of bad food and start breaking it down into what you need to do before you look at a specific diet or anything else, although we will talk about diets. So what I want to start off with today is calories. You can eat the right foods, but you can eat them in such a volume that you end up putting on weight. You can eat the wrong foods and lose weight. And it all comes down to your calories. Now, I personally find it far easier to not snack and not eat the wrong food, and by wrong I mean just extra food, if I'm full. So start off your journey with your calories. How many calories do you need to have to maintain, put on, or lose weight? And there's always, as always, in every video there is a link to a TD calculator. A TD calculator tells you that information. It says to you, type in your weight, your age, your height, and it gives you an amount. It gives you an amount of calories that you need to maintain your weight, current weight, and if you undercut that, then you should be losing weight. It, for some people, is not quite that simple and they need to throw in some other things as well, but I want to talk about the majority, and I'm part of that majority. If I, on a regular basis, day in, day out, eat less than the TD calculator says I need to maintain my weight, I do lose weight. So please, the first thing to do is go to any TD calculator. I've linked one, but you can go to any TD calculator out there and work out the calories, because the calories will set the tone for your weight loss. It is one of those things that, although there is no bad food, eating too much is a habit that we need to sort out. And to do that, you can work out your meals and everything else around how many calories you should be starting. But remember, A packet of sweets will use up the vast majority, if not all, of your calories in one go, and you will be hungry later. So although a few sweets are not bad, the volume of them is the habit that we need to change. And you can only do that if you know roughly how much you should be eating in calories every day. And I'm not suggesting, and I don't count every calorie I eat, but I do approximate. I do roughly work out where I am with a meal. Is it a 200 calorie snack? Is it a 500 calorie meal? What am I having? And then work it out from there. So please, the first one is calories. So although there are no bad foods, the habit is to stuff your face with chocolate, use up all your calories, be hungry an hour later, have a meal, and you're already, no matter how healthy that meal is, you're already over your calories for the day. So you will not be losing that weight. Hunger is a habit that we need to change. I did a video about hormones and how that can affect how hungry you are and how full you feel, and that is quite important. The moral of the story is drink lots of water, and get a decent night's sleep. But also, again, this whole theme of there are no bad foods, just bad habits. If you eat high sugar, high refined products, you will, generally speaking, get a boost of energy, which is great if you're a sportsman and going out to do something energetic, but generally you are hungry a little while later. So hunger is one of those things that, bear that in mind when you are on your weight loss journey, because if you are hungry, you are setting yourself up to fail. And again, you might snack on apples and fruit, or hummus and carrots, or whatever the equivalent is for you that is a healthier snack. But if you're always hungry and you're snacking lots, that can again take you over the calories you need to be eating in order to lose that weight. So bear that in mind, okay? No wrong food, no bad food, but again, pick things that are going to leave you feeling full for longer, because that will help you avoid the snacks. Boredom is another one for me, in terms of that hunger bit. When I'm bored, and I'm sitting there, I will, out of habit, go and grade, some crisps, chips, nuts, whatever. It is one of those things that if you know that is one of your triggers, try and do something to keep you busy, keep you involved, whether it's YouTube, whether it is some sort of DIY, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But if you know that that is a trigger for you and kicks in that hunger, I can just snack, then try to avoid it. So try to eat things that are higher volume. Is it useful to eat a 200 calorie snack bar, or is it better for you to eat 2 or 3 apples and fill yourself up that way? You'll get more volume from the apples. It'll take you a bit longer to eat them, so you con your body into thinking it's had extra calories and you feel fuller. So look at ways to deal with hunger, because it is one of those things that if you can deal with the hunger, it will make your weight loss journey that much easier. I know I've been there, I've fallen off the wagon, I've eaten the packets of sweets, been hungry half an hour later, pretended to have something healthy, and the cycle repeats. So, no bad food, but a bad habit, or not bad habit, a habit that we need to look to change is that hunger and how we deal with it. Have some healthier things in the house to eat rather than small volume, high sugar, energy type things. You will thank me for that. I've thanked myself many times for that, because it makes such a massive difference. Okay, diets. I know that I've often talked about lifestyle changes rather than diets, but I acknowledge that there are sometimes good reasons to go on a diet. But what I'm talking about in this instance is not so much being on a strict diet, but the food plan that suits you. If you've watched lots of these videos, I often talk about the fact that I eat lower carbs and high volume foods mostly, because that is a diet, a food plan that I can actually maintain and I like, and it doesn't make me too bored, and I don't fall off the rails very often, and it is, for me, a good lifestyle to have. But I've also had friends who are on, keto diets and paleo diets and everything, and it's worked for them. So, along with the fact that there's no bad food, you've got to temper that with what actually works for you. If throwing some fat in there stops you getting the cravings for other things, then think about keto style diets. But there's a theme here, which is don't just chop and change. Don't just try it for a couple of days and then move on. Try it for a week or two, because what you're trying to do is find a habit, a food plan in this case, that suits you for the long run. Something something that you can actually maintain week in, week out, day out, and actually enjoy and not feel like you've put your life on hold in order to lose some weight, to have a life at some future point where you'll suddenly be happy overnight. I know that there are things I'm doing now that I couldn't have done 200 pounds ago. I know that there are things I will be doing in another 100 pounds lost that I wouldn't be doing today. But it is about getting there in a healthy, controlled manner, whatever that is for you. And part of that is that diet and lifestyle choice. Whether it's vegan, vegetarian, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter other than to you. You've got to be able to maintain that and not just end up doing the latest fad diet for a few days, deciding you don't like it, falling off the rails, putting on what you've lost, if not more, and then starting that cycle all over again with the next fad diet. There are lots of organisations out there that will help you with that food planning, that will help you, give you some ideas for a lifestyle that perhaps would suit you, whether it is Weight Watchers or any of those other type of organisations. If it works for you, then it's the right thing for you. And what you're actually looking at is something that is beyond a diet. It becomes a habit. And you'll find with a lot of those that they're not saying that you cannot ever have that. They're not saying any one thing is bad. But one of the things they all have in common is they say to you, right, you can have that as a treat, a sin, whatever you want to call it, but you need to pay the price elsewhere. You can't just eat that till you're full. You need to have a little bit of that as a treat to combat that sweet craving, whatever it is. And it's really, really, good once you find that diet, meal plan, whatever you want to call it, and you find that actually sticking to it isn't a problem. Yes, you might still have that treat of a pizza every month, or in our case, a payday Chinese every month. And it's quite guilt-free because you have been good for the other 30 nights of the month, and you are seeing a downward trend going on, and it's just a little treat. I'm not, generally speaking, a big believer of sort of treat weekends, because I find that you end up skimping all the week before, gorging yourself over that weekend and all the wrong things, and then paying the price for the next week or two thereafter. But it is one of those things that you're looking at this over a year, over 2 years, 5 years. So what can you maintain long term? Because I really do strongly believe that there are no such thing as bad foods. We just have some habits that we need to work on in order to lose that weight. But you can't do that unless you know how many calories you should be eating to maintain and lose your weight. And just on that last note, they reckon it's about 3,000 calories equals a pound. So if you if you undercut your TD calculator, your calories, by 500 calories per day, which is doable, then you should be losing just over a pound per week, which I think, and many people might say you should do it faster or whatever else, but I think 1 to 2 pounds per week is a healthy and sustainable amount to reduce your body weight by. So, in short, I don't think there is such a thing as a bad food. I really don't think there's any one thing that you can point to and go, that Hershey bar, that Mars bar, Snickers, whatever it is bad. It's bad if you're eating them all the time every day, but that is a habit that you need to break rather than a bad food on its own. Pastas and carbohydrates are not bad. We've been eating them for a lot of years as a civilization, but if you eat nothing but carbs, it's not going to help your insulin levels and how you deal with the blood sugars and everything else. So, no such thing as bad food, but lots of habits we need to work on. And hopefully in these videos there'll be some coping mechanisms on how you can actually combat that and actually help yourself lead a better and healthier life and lose that weight that you're trying to lose on your weight loss journey. So I really do hope you've enjoyed this video. Please do leave a comment with your favourite coping strategy in terms of your diets, your snacking, your hunger, because I really would like to hear from you if you've got some comments there that we can use later. I'm always looking for extra tricks on how I can do better, because I'm by far from perfect and still have a long way to go. But if you've liked it, leave a comment and leave a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video.